Hey guys, Banana Luck here. Welcome back to another Watch Our Realms video. We finally have Nurcha in the official game client where we can actually take a look at his spells and also see what he's good at. And that was his intro video. Lots of dragons recently when it comes to lore. Uh, I think it's pretty accurate as per the actual Nurcha like storyline in the Chinese thematic universe. But yeah, that's that. We are here to talk about Nurcha, so let's take a look at him. So first of all, very interesting range. It is almost similar to what you see in some mages, except for that one tower at the front. But bear in mind, Nurcha is a ground unit, so yeah, not sure how that would fit in. But for sure, he can be placed behind a tank comfortably, so that's nice. And he's from both Watcher and Esotericis, both very strong factions recently, with Watchers getting Drillin and Talon. Both of these units amazing. Talon, a pseudo tank DPS unit. Drillin, an amazing tank who heals on the ground, has unyielding, and also has damage boost at A1. And then you have your usual Kigiri and Wukong, and then coupled with Ingrid, it's just a super strong faction at the moment. And then you have the Esotericis faction where you have a whole lot of new units there. You have Nestia, Velara, you have Moraiden, Nerissa, and then you also have Vaughn, Numera, all of which are staples to actually make do with in Abyss, for example, and also many other content areas. So definitely, Nurcha is going to come in handy in some parts of the game, but let's take a look at his stats now. So 5k base attack, not the craziest, especially when we've been seeing 6k base attack in a lot of new units recently, but it is still well above average. 16k HP, pretty low. It means that he is probably going to have to sit behind a tank no matter what, unless you're talking about areas where he doesn't need to tank as much. And then talent. Uses 3 weapons. First is Fire Tip Spear. Deals 100% damage to one target and has a 20% chance to trigger 2 consecutive hits. During the ultimate, that increases to 50%. Universe Ring deals 80% damage to one target and bounces 2 times. So some form of AOE damage there. And then Yin Yang Blade deals 200% single target damage to up to 5 enemy targets. So another AOE type damage. And then there's only one target, deals an extra 200% damage. So basically a 2-hit thing, similar to what you have with the Fire Tip Spear. And then each time he alternates weapons to attack, he gains 10% damage increase for 10 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. Then during the ultimate, basic attack has a 35% chance to use Yin Yang Blade, so that's how it plays in, that third weapon. And during the ultimate, talent's damage increase effect is doubled. So this goes up to 60% overall. And then physical attack, this is how it works when there's only one enemy within range, uses Fire Tip Spear, otherwise uses Universe Ring, and all attacks can target airborne units. I don't think we've gotten a fighter that is both single target and AoE in a while. Except for Velara, but Velara is full AoE, so she just has redonkulous stats to make up for it, such that she's still good in some single target content. But yeah, the Fire Tip Spear damage goes up to 120% and 110%. Universe Ring goes up to 90%, and this is his form of AoE attack. And then first passive, when switching between different weapons to attack, increases the damage multiplier of that basic attack by 50%. That goes up to 90%. So I think this happens when you do the actual switch. And triggers arms enhancement. Fire Tip Spear ignores 50% of the enemy's defense. And then Universe Ring bounces 1 extra time and can hit the same target multiple times. So it means that Universe Ring will hit the target 4 times in total, even if there's nothing nearby. Then Yin Yang Blade executes common monsters with HP below 30%. So that's probably why we saw that video circulating around where Nurcha was soloing Geared 121, even though he is a physical damage unit. And then we have the last passive. When the hero kills an enemy, reduces the attack interval by 5% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So that's going to be a 25% attack interval reduction in total. And during the ultimate, each kill extends the ultimate duration by 2 seconds up to 10 seconds. And then last but not least, his bond skill with Erlang Shen, the Mind's Eye. During the ultimate, becomes immune to all debuffs and basic attack restores 5% max HP. Nothing too crazy to be expected because his kit right now already sounds great. But yeah, it's great that they made it such that the bond is not too crazy, because in Moraiden's case, it's a bit different. The bond is quite a big deal in terms of that first deployment damage, which I don't really like. And given that I don't have Lara, I don't get to take advantage of that. So now on to his ultimate. When activated with a max skill cost of 800, increases attack by 50%, expands the attack range. You can see this is a normal mage range now, and creates Windfire Whale. What does this do? Inflicts burning continuously to enemies in range, and every 6 seconds uses Armillary Sash to inflict stun on up to 10 enemy targets in range for 2 seconds. And this ultimate lasts for 30 seconds, which is pretty long. And when it ends, it deals up to how much is that? Sorry, 60% attack. I misread that. 300% AOE damage to up to 10 enemies targets in range based on the number of weapon switches performed during the ultimate. So it scales the more times that he actually switches. The main concern I have with the switching is how reliable it is in terms of how many times he actually switches. Because if you always get AOE content, then it's a very high chance that you just wind up doing the universal ring attack. But there is Yin Yang Blade in the mix during the ultimate, so I guess that's where the switch happens most of the time. 35% chance, so I guess that's where that reliably comes in when it comes to the switches, because outside of the ultimate, I don't think you will have a chance to switch unless the content really goes from single target to AoE a lot of times. And I think the only time that happens is actually in the top wave of Malric Trials, where you have the Inquisitor as well as the top wave that usually spawns. I think that's the only time that you have both single target and AoE damage going on. So yeah, cost-wise, he is at 18 cost, pretty high to be honest. You could possibly use him in AoE Arena under a Watcher team, but we'll need to actually test him out there to see if he works out fine. And then Awakening, Enhanced Universe Ring inflicts slow on the enemies. The Enhanced Universe Ring, okay, that's... I'm just thinking, yeah, I think it's gonna only be on the Unlimited Arsenal, because it says Enhanced. Because if it says 75% slow no matter whether it's enhanced or not, that's gonna be pretty broken. Because it pretty much means that every time there is more than one unit in range, he's gonna do this 75% slow. So I'm guessing this will come in very handy during the ultimate, because that's when the switch will actually happen. A2 flat attack, nice for a unit like him, 5.3k attack in total, so that's gonna scale up very nicely. And then A3, which is arguably the biggest awakening that I've seen so far during the ultimate. Every 4 attacks by the hero deals an extra 200% true damage to up to 8 enemies within the ultimate range, and inflicts a mark that lasts for 10 seconds on them. The true damage is huge, because normally units like in the Watcher and Esotericist faction don't really get true damage, with the exception of like Numera, as well as Anastia, who is an ancient exclusive lord. But it seems like we're getting a lot more true damage recently in a lot of these units. Inflicts a mark that lasts for 10 seconds on them. When a mark is active, direct damage dealt by the hero inflicts an extra 10% true damage, and each enemy can only be marked 1 time per battle. So it means that if the fight drags out for some time, that true damage is not going to apply in the second ultimate, but even then, 10% true damage per hit, that is still going to be pretty crazy. And with the combined enhancement buff, where the rings can actually hit the same target multiple times, that could come in pretty handy actually. And I think even in single target bits, where he has that fire tip blade hitting twice, and then all that together, that true damage could stack up pretty quickly. Penetration 8%, and then A5 upon death triggers Lotus Rebirth, very similar to Imrat, just that instead of not doing anything, this one actually does knockback as well as burning and slow by 75% for the first time. So yeah, it basically is some sort of insurance, but not nearly enough to guarantee that Nurture will come back to life unless you have something protecting him there. And this only triggers one time per paddle, pretty consistent with all the other unyielding-ish spells that we have. So yeah, I don't think Nurture is gonna replace Wukong or Kigiri in Abyss. I don't think that's gonna happen. He could substitute other units, but given that most units are ground at the moment, I don't think there's space for him, because you have to bear in mind that he has no inbuilt, damage mitigation or dodge in place like Kigiri to actually dodge from the magic meteor. So that's the main problem that I see there. And 18 cost is pretty high. Not sure how handy he will be in arena, because Villara is a very different case. Not only can she shift from one tile to the other, she's at 12 cost, she has invisibility, so she can take care of the earlier waves without any support or even cost generators. Whereas Nurja, none of those things, 18 cost, which means that you have to add in what do you call that? You have to add in a cost generator no matter what if you want to actually use him, unless we figure something out along the way. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Let me know if you're gonna be summoning for Nurture. I am gonna be summoning for him because I do think that he has potential in AOE content, especially Malric Trials, because this guy just reads crazy in terms of the amount of damage that he can dish out, especially with the A3. I think that's gonna be very handy in content like level 5 Malric Trials. So that's gonna be it for the video. Let me know down in the comment section below if you have any questions. And I am gonna do a pool party this weekend as well. See if we get any interest for that. We're gonna do it at GMT plus 8, probably 10 p.m. The Google Form link will be down in the comment section below. So yeah, if you have any questions, leave it down in the comment section below and do sign up if you're interested. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.